Take that uniform off. You're turning this place into a war zone. The parking lot of the community center fell into an eerie silence. I'd just stepped out of my truck, still clad in my U.S. Army formal blues from a memorial service for a fallen brother. My boots hadn't even touched the pavement when Patricia Vaughn, our self-appointed HOA overlord, came running toward me as if I'd just committed a war crime. I just stood there immobile, her voice piercing the still air. "This is a private community, sir," she snapped. "No costumes, no weapons, no uniforms. It's disturbing. Take it off or leave." My jaw clenched. "I'm Luke Harper, retired Master Sergeant, 4 tours with Special Forces. I've lost too many fine men, and that day I honored one who gave his life to save mine in Iraq. And now on my own street, I was being told to lose the uniform that I wore for him." "Ma'am," I said matter-of-factly, "this isn't a costume. It's a formal military uniform. I just left a funeral." She laughed. "Matters not. It's contrary to the HOA's standards of appearance, and residents take it as offensive." There was a little crowd. Some stood respectfully, others made supportive noises under their breaths. Patricia waved them away. "Rules are rules. If I let you wear that, next it'll be tanks in driveways." I got a hold of my phone, not to dial 911, but to text someone Patricia never should have underestimated. Black SUVs would roll onto Oakwood Lane within a day. Tints dark, plates classified, and they wouldn't be stopping by for a chat. 3 months prior, I'd retired from the Army and purchased a small ranch-style home in Oakwood, a suburb of manicured lawns and courteous nods. Me and my golden retriever, Tucker. I desired quiet, a garden, perhaps some work with veteran outreach. The HOA regulations seemed frivolous. No vibrant paint, no Christmas lights after January. But after 2 decades of obeying military orders, I thought I could manage. The first day I settled in, Patricia came to the door with a clipboard clutched in one hand and a cardigan draped over her shoulders, despite the 85-degree weather. "You're the new one," she said, forcing a smile. "Luke Harper," I replied. "Patricia Vaughn, president of the HOA. We have a tight ship here." By tight ship, she meant total control. Inside 1 week, I complained to her about not having my lawn cut in 48 hours since my arrival, and Tucker barking a single time at a squirrel. When she grumbled that my American flag was too dominant, I smiled and swapped it out with an even smaller version. But then came the breaking point when she wrote saying accusingly that my porch camo flag fold was militaristic. My retired paramedic neighbor, Tom, said this morning, "She's anti-uniform. Loves the authority." I kept my cool until the funeral. Captain Miguel Torres had saved my life in Afghanistan. His widow asked me to say a few words. I dressed in my dress blues to give him respect. After the ceremony, I went to Oakwood's community center for a local event Patricia had invited me to. I'd RSVP'd weeks earlier, looking forward to making myself at home. Instead, she assaulted me like I'd brought a missile launcher. I texted Ethan, a veterans' rights activist and ex-SEAL. His reply, "She messed up, we're coming." That evening, Ethan called, "Are you available tomorrow?" "I'm ready," I said. The following morning, as Patricia pulled me along in the HOA's group chat, 3 black SUVs arrived. Out stepped Ethan, Caleb, Javier, Big Tony, and 2 others, all clad in the same veteran outreach uniforms, moving with crisp, silent ease. Patricia was in her driveway, coffee trembly. They gave her a warm smile, then knocked on my door. I opened it. We hugged. Tucker yelped like Christmas. We went out into the backyard for a barbecue. Patricia stormed over, seething. "You can't have uniformed soldiers here. It goes against gathering policies." Ethan stood in front of her, calm. "Ma'am, we're state-certified veteran outreach workers, legally protected. What you're doing is harassment, and it's against the Veterans Civil Rights Act. Our lawyers will be in contact. Hungry for a burger?" Her mouth dropped open. She ran away. 2 days later, I got an HOA envelope. Disciplinary hearing set. Charges, unauthorized gathering, intimidation, and improper attire. The hearing was Friday. I didn't lose my temper. I prepared. I phoned attorney friend Tom, lawyer friend Marcus, and journalist Lena at an old established paper. I tried some of the advocacy groups. Friday and the clubhouse were mobbed. Some friendly, others just nosy. Patricia sat at the head table, judge-like, with two board members either side. "You entertained men in uniform and harassed residents," she declared, "and you sported a provocation uniform to an open-to-everybody occasion." I got up, flag pin gleaming. "I wore this to honor a fallen hero. That's it." "Rules don't bend," Patricia snapped. Marcus rose, flashing his badge. "Trent Nichols, civvy." When she threatened Tucker, I realized escalation would come. Ethan and I began Project Valor, a morning driveway community of fellow vets. We pinned medals, drank coffee, told war stories. Neighbors participated. Pie materialized. Children flew flags. The whole block sparkled with patriotism. Patricia shouted about lingering, but neighbors fought back. "You can't ban pride." Then sheriff cruisers came. Anonymous tip on firearms. They found my locked pistol and medals. Ashamed, they left. "Too many false tips," grumbled one deputy. Ethan called in reinforcements. Before sunrise, 10 SUVs arrived with veterans from every branch. We walked in an approved honor walk. Flags held high. Patricia blew up. "This isn't a military base." But cameras were rolling, and City Councilwoman Elena Ruiz marched alongside us. Then Patricia struck me. Gasps filled the air. Deputies handcuffed her for assault. Board member Greg motioned to throw her out. Patricia, released on bail, blamed I for inciting her. We brought forward each letter, each fine. Even the Joneses' clogged wheelchair ramp. Posters went up on lawns. "Respect veterans, stop HOA abuse." The clubhouse was packed. Miss Clara spoke to the gathering. "Luke's a blessing." The Joneses raised the question, who serves? The man who fights for us, or the woman who finds us for flags? Tom added his 2 cents. Patricia fights porch flags. Luke fought actual wars. I stood up. I brought honor, not tanks. Patricia wants control, not community. Greg's casting vote, nay. The board ejected her. Elena opened a formal investigation into abuses of rights and fraud. Patricia fainted. "This isn't over," she whispered. Then there came a forged deed conveying my house to her LLC. The county clerk raised the flag. Marcus laid charges. A few days before the hearing, there came a sign on my lawn, Patricia's face declaring it as her new office. We called in the big guns, Veterans for Justice, Alna, my squad back in the day. News vans descended upon us. An old general gave a speech. Miss Clara recited a poem to us. Ethan exclaimed, "She tried to swipe a vet's home on paper." "We won't let her." A court order prohibited Patricia from my property. She counterattacked with a doctored IRS report. The agent was gone in 10 minutes, my record spotless. The courtroom got crowded. Veterans, neighbors. Press the judge, after reviewing everything, said, "This is a shameful campaign against a veteran. All claims denied. Damages awarded. State protection granted." Patricia gasped. Defeated. Then came cut camera cables, Tucker's yapping, and a bullet casing in my mailbox. Her fixer warned, "Things have a cost." 2 men in masks showed up in evening hours. My floodlights and Ethan's silent alarm caught one. His identification linked him to a shady business. The sheriff called it conspiracy. Colonel Daniel Reed organized a veteran strong rally. Hundreds protested. A congressman called. Cornered, Patricia sheltered behind blinds drawn. A defamation suit didn't work. Then the coup de grace, evidence that she'd pilfered $82,000 in HOA funds. State officials raided the house. She was taken into custody on fraud and conspiracy charges. The HOA excluded her. Elena's bill for vets' housing passed. The Jones family created a mural of the flag. Greg's wife wrote me, "I used to be frightened of uniforms, but you brought us peace." In Patricia's trial, convictions came in hot waves. Her real estate license was suspended. Oakwood healed. Flags flew. Grills smoked. Kids played. And I stood at my door, flag waving, Tucker chasing squirrels, ready to greet whatever knock came next. Because this was home, and I'd fought for it once again.